Hey everyone, Future Gaia in editing here. I am recording this little bit about a month after the previous episode. It's about 12 a.m. where I am, and as you can tell, I'm in my pajamas while I do this editing. So, quick announcement, this episode was recorded while we had a heat wave in the region of South Ontario. So both Abhipsha and I had fans on during this, and you can hear them. They're pretty quiet, and I do everything I can to cut the audio out, but I don't have like a good low-pass filter or anything, so please forgive that there will be a little bit of background static as this episode goes. As well, Abhipsha kind of had a drink with ice cubes in it and a metal straw that she stirs a few times in the episode. She sometimes is talking while doing the stirring, so I can't actually cut the stirring audio out. I'm going to do whatever I can to fix it, but please forgive that. This only happens for 2 episodes, episodes 4 and 5, and then it goes all the way back to normal, where we don't have fans on anymore. So sorry about that, but I hope you still enjoyed the episode, and I'll see you next time. Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 4 of Chronic Pain Club. My name is Gaia. I am the person without chronic pain here today, joined by 2 wonderful co-hosts, Isabella and Abhipsha. Before we get into today's episode, I have a quick announcement. From the area where Abhipsha and I are recording, we're having a heat wave, and if I don't run AC, the temperature in my room hits about 35 degrees Celsius, which is not safe for recording while I have the recording program running and my computer pumping out heat. So I have an AC about 7 feet or so away from me on my left, and if you hear it in the background, I am so sorry if you pick up anything of that on a Abhipsha's mic. Hopefully this will go away, but this is a necessity. We don't have an option. Anyways, welcome you two.
And if you can't hear anything, ignore everything that Gaia just said.
I'm going to work really hard to cut it out when I'm not speaking. But I speak a lot for the first about 2 minutes of every single episode, so not a great option. But yeah, so we're joined here for, I think this is going to be our last episode with just the 3 of us. We're getting a new person in next episode, so for those of you listening live, tune in next week. For those of you listening online, tune in to whenever the next episode drops. I'm probably going to upload the first 4 all at once, so actually also tune in next week, because that's when episode 5 comes out. Great! I know how, I totally know what I'm doing, and I totally have not yet edited a single episode yet. I plan on doing that tonight.
You're doing great.
I'm not doing great, but this is going to work out great. So, Abhipsha, today is your day to tell us a story. Why don't you two get chatting, maybe say hi to the camera, and give us a bit of an introduction of what we're going to be talking about.
Hi, I'm overheating, so I'm drinking a virgin mojito that is mostly frozen water. I'm not gonna lie, it's great.
Yeah, we're not allowed to say the word for solid water due to ongoing political events.
For context, I said it during our pre-show discussion, and Isabella called me out, so now I feel ashamed.
What good is my degree otherwise? You know what I mean?
Look, this show does not represent the political opinions of CHSR, our radio station, or of Spotify as a whole, but we do represent our own. And we're not saying the I word.
My name's Isabella. I was the one that called people out for saying the I word, and I have just water.
Oh, God.
It's not quite as warm here, but it's still quite warm, so I'm not suffering as much.
Are you wearing a blanket right now?
That's enough from you? It's unbearable to wear the blanket. I just have to wear it. I don't like my legs out.
Okay. Whatever makes you happy. Okay.
So, Abhipsha, what are we talking about today? What's your story?
So I did mention that I'm overheating. Part of it is the fact that I've never had a particularly good heat tolerance. The other half of it is the fact that I'm on SNRIs. I forgot what they were called for a second.
Wait, SNRIs?
Which, if you don't know, I am on an SNRI, yes. Which stands for serotonin norepinephrine reuptake inhibitor. I cannot believe I said that without forgetting what any of those words mean, or how they're pronounced. But they're an antidepressant, and one of the wonderful effects that they have is a lot of antidepressants tend to dehydrate you a lot quicker than you would be otherwise. It sucks, I hate it, but I need to take them so I can function, so oh well. And that kind of ties into our current story. So the reason that I take antidepressants is, shockingly, Because aside from my incredible physical health history, I also have a history of fairly severe depression, which means I've been on antidepressants for quite a while now. But the way I first got put on antidepressants is actually a really funny story. And kind of ties back into my chronic pain. Oh, nice. I would get my prescription, but it is all the way at the back of the room and I don't want to move.
Well, this one
I'm
says
not
it's a
taking any
telegram on it.
medications. We're taking 0. You know?
There's no way you're on no medications, Isabella.
I'm on no medications, not
What?
even Tylenol.
I'm sorry.
I don't take
How? How?
Didn't you, during our last episode, say you took like 6 naproxens every morning?
And I'm not on any of them for 2 years.
How do you function?
That's between me and God.
Fair enough.
God has tried to make you stop functioning a few times now. Hold on.
That is true.
That's
That
a story
is
for
very,
another
very
time,
true.
and that's a story that we will have.
Oh god. Appropriate. So, I don't think I've actually mentioned what my chronic pain is, but it's a lot more common than whatever the hell is wrong with Isabella. But I have a cervical radiculopathy, which is a very fancy way of saying something up a nerve. Oh, I'm not allowed to say that word on air. Oh well. Something messed up a nerve on one of the spinal nerves around my neck, and now the entire right side of my body is kind of stupid and complains at me every time I try to do something. It's great, but because it's like a nerve-related thing, it took a little while to diagnose because there's like 7 things it could have been.
Probably 7
I
more
kinda just showed up
serious things it could have been.
Well, yes, but I kind of just showed up at my doctor and went, my arm hurts, and she just went, okay, that means nothing to me. So I got sent to a neurologist, because he'd probably know what was going on better. And a fun fact that I don't think a lot of people know is antidepressants are used to treat mental health conditions, but they're also very often prescribed for, like, nerve-related pain, specifically. And this was, I think, when I was 17. I was in my last year of high school, and it was probably when my depression was at its worst. This was, like, mid-COVID. I graduated high school during COVID.
Me too.
It was great. Yay! It was awful. I hated it. But that was probably when my depression was at its worst. I hadn't been diagnosed yet because I was still in my, if I tell myself it's not a problem, then it's not a problem era. And so...
You're still in that era.
I got... Shush. But at the time, I was just saying, I can't get out of bed, and I don't ever want to do anything, and I kind of want to jump off a building, but that's normal. So I got sent to a neurologist because my arm hurt, and he put me on... We tried a couple of medications that didn't really work out very well for me, and then I got put on duloxetine, which is an antidepressant. It's not the one I'm on right now, but that doesn't really matter. Now the thing is, the funny part about this is it did almost nothing for my chronic pain, but once again, like, I was probably at my worst, like, not functioning as a human, to the point where even my parents, who didn't really believe in mental illness until I started showing symptoms of one, and then they just went, oh, something is wrong here, went, oh, something is wrong here, were concerned, and then I got put on duloxetine.
I love the ambiance of the ice cubes clicking in your cup as you're telling this.
It's really warm.
Ambiance.
Censor yourself.
I'm holding on to this glass for, like, dear life because I am absorbing cool. Like,
that's not how that works.
Shush. I did not pay attention in thermodynamics.
You're radiating.
That's a lie,
the heat
actually.
away.
That's a lie, actually. I did pretty well in that class. It's my biggest bragging, right?
I hated that class.
It was awful. For those of you that aren't physics majors or, like, haven't done physics in a university setting, nothing hurts more than thermodynamics. Like, that is by far the most brutal class I've ever taken. It killed me, and then left me up as a pile of ashes on the floor, and then asked me to calculate my heat capacity. Okay. It's great. Now, where was I before I started ranting about...
Your parents didn't believe in mental illness.
That is true, they didn't.
Until you had one.
Until I had one. And the thing is, a month after being put on duloxetine, something really weird happened, where I could think clearly. And I didn't really... It was one of those things where I didn't really notice it at first, until I think someone pointed out, hey, we've been seeing you a lot more lately, like you're making time to call us and text us, and you, like, actually want to hang out with us. Not that we actually could hang out, again, this was mid-COVID. And I went, oh yeah, that's weird, I wonder what that is. For a while, actually, because I hadn't made the connection yet, I'd convinced myself that, see, I told myself it's not an issue, and it's not an issue.
Or you're telling me you got put on antidepressants, noticed you weren't depressed anymore, and instead of concluding, oh, the antidepressants worked, you concluded, see, I can lie my way into not being depressed.
The logical conclusion. You're telling me that there's another conclusion to draw from that set of scenarios? I actually did not put together that that's what happened until about a month ago, when I had to meet with...
Like, it's been 4 years. It's been 5 years.
I did not make the connection until about a month ago at the beginning of May, when I had to follow... I got referred to a psychiatrist for something else. That's its own whole story. But we were discussing my medication, because we were discussing whether or not we need to optimize it, so she needed to know if I'd ever been on any other antidepressants before, and I said, aside from the one I'm on right now, I've been on duloxetine in 2020, and she asked, how did you feel on that? And I was like, well, it was fine. I mean, I took it for chronic pain, and it didn't really do all that much. Although I don't think I was all that depressed during those 2 months, actually. And then we talked about it a little bit more, and she just went, oh, okay, you're stupid. Well, she didn't actually say that, but, well, I said, oh, well, I don't really know if it was because of the meds or because I was just, fine. And she just went, I just kind of saw her have this look of, what are you saying?
She just had the moment of, this stupid.
Pretty much.
And that's the second censor beep I have to put into this episode. Have fun, future Gaia.
And you thought I would be bad.
You're surprisingly good at becoming a good Christian grifter. Have we not talked about that on the show yet?
No.
Oh, we haven't talked about that on the show yet.
Spoiler alert for an upcoming episode.
That's not in the topic.
Where
we're at the topic list.
Where we're going to be launching Isabella's Christian grifter.
Not Christian grifter, tradwife grifter.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's the
tradwife
part.
grifter side business. Okay. Yes.
I've added it to the story list. I just need everyone listening to understand for a second that for our host, Emily, our host coming up next episode, has 4 stories. Abhipsha has 6, and Isabella is on her 16th story in the list.
I don't know why you're saying that like it's a bad thing. It sounds like Isabella's just being proactive.
This is perfect as a content creator and absolutely horrible as a human being who cares about Isabella's well-being.
This is why nobody knows what's going on at any time, despite how much I overshare.
Yeah, no, okay. I know, this is not the episode topic, so I'm going to try to keep this rant short. But in the time since our last recording, which was a week ago yesterday, we have added 6 items to Isabella's story list, of which I think 3 of them happened in the past week.
Isabella's life really does sound like it's being made up by ChatGPT.
It really does.
Every single time she tells me something new, I just kind of sit there like, okay, sure, that might as well happen.
Y'all were getting live updates.
I was getting the live updates, and I wish I didn't. She did message me, I think at 8 a.m., saying that she had crashed out at 4:30 a.m. after drinking 2 pots of coffee, but that's for a future story.
The other day, I got just a video from Isabella with no context whatsoever.
Did you not send her context?
No, there was no context. Talking about how she needed to do research for something, and I just went, sure, okay, have fun.
For reference, she sent me that
I'm
after
32 pages into it.
32! Okay. So she sent me that after texting me that she had crashed out at 4:30 a.m. after drinking 2 pots of coffee and collapsing onto her wall and then the floor.
I had a religious epiphany.
She did have a religious epiphany. She sent me multiple texts and then sent me that video, and I said, you need to send this video to Abhipsha, that'll be great. And she sent it to Abhipsha with no context and no follow-up.
I had to get to the library.
We've gotten really sidetracked, but I need everyone that's listening to this to understand that I was at work where I try to pretend to be a normal person. And I happened to check my text, and I just get a video from Isabella, and I just kind of had to... I stared at my phone for a good 30 seconds after getting this video, before just going, sure, that makes sense.
Yeah, and you can't break the mask.
Getting back to whatever
you can't break
it was.
The mask.
That's what I'm here for. Send me all of your religious questions. I can't answer them.
Do not do that.
Last time... I think I'm going to be spoiling too much if I go into the spatula. So tune in next time for that. Well, not next time. Tune into episode 5 for that. 6. Episode 6
or
for that.
6.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, episode 6.
I would like everyone that's listening to know that Gaia has like 2 math degrees.
If we're going by Waterloo standards, I have 3. And that's worse. Because CS is part of math in Waterloo.
That's pretty cringe, bro.
CS.
Well, you can both fight me. Get back to your story about your psychologist hearing you talk about your medication and just being like, this girl's stupid.
My psychiatrist, my psychologist is lovely. She would never call me stupid.
She would call you stupid, but affectionately.
She has said, girl, you're stupid, in very, very polite and endearing terms.
I love your psychologist.
Shout out Natalie.
You've told multiple people to hire Natalie as their psychologist, which has been wild, because one of them you told to hire Natalie, and they needed to see a psychologist because of you.
Okay, look, I hadn't put 2 and 2 together, okay?
You traumatized someone and then told them to go see your own psychologist.
For context, this person was my ex.
Yeah, this was not your own fault, by the way. Like, no, this was not her fault.
Yeah, I just need everyone to believe that I'm a good person. It was just a complicated breakup. But we're still good friends. Shout out Natalie.
Natalie is not the friend, Natalie's the psychologist. We're not gonna name drop the
Natalie...
friend on this call.
No, we're not. But yes. My psychiatrist kind of just, kind of blinked at me for a couple of seconds and went, okay, how long were you on it again? I was like, about 3 months in total. And she was like, okay, how long after you went off of it did you start experiencing symptoms of depression again? And I went, like, about a month, I think. And then she just went, it was probably the meds. Which has been a really, really funny revelation, actually, because it did not hit me until someone else pointed that out. I just convinced myself that I was magically cured.
For 4 months,
so
exactly.
Yeah. For the for the 4 months that I was on the drug, I didn't have depression anymore. But it wasn't because of the antidepressants. It was because you just have to believe in yourself.
That's not the takeaway from this episode. I'm not allowing that.
And that's what I'm always saying.
Okay, I'm sitting up. I'm not allowing that to be the takeaway for this episode. Do not believe your way out of depression.
I do feel the need to clarify that. Yes, it is. I since have had to learn multiple times, very much the hard way, that you cannot just live, laugh, love your way out of depression. It sucks.
No, you cannot live, laugh, love your way out of depression. Correct.
Except for when you can. And always remember.
No. Blow high here supports going on antidepressants.
You can live, laugh, love your way out of depression if it's funny.
For the bit.
For the bit. Thank you, Isabella. No one gets me like you.
To the bit.
But
Isabella, I hate you so much right now.
About 2 years after that, so in 2020, 3 years after that, in 2023, I don't know how to count, but that's okay because I'm a physicist, not a math person like Gaia.
True.
I got put on antidepressants full time because someone was like, okay, you need drugs. And once again, if for those of you that have never been on antidepressants, and I do want to, like, preface this with, if you have symptoms of depression, I'm not saying that antidepressants are a blanket cure for it, because...
Oh, God, no.
Medications be weird.
Actually...
They were very much the thing for me. And the thing is, when you have the genre of depression that is well controlled by antidepressants, there's this weird thing you have, like, about a month or two into being on treatment, where you start having these bizarre thoughts like, oh my god, the trees are so pretty. It's such a nice day. And I've just I think, once I started thinking about how I was having, like, positive thoughts about the environment or whatever, I remember having a conversation with my therapist about this, just saying, is this what people think about all the time? I have so much free time. And it is just a really funny phenomenon about how depression has its way of kind of turning all of your thoughts into sludge, is how I like to describe it. And once you start to come out of that, you do just kind of notice really mundane things like, oh my god, the trees are so pretty. Which is just weird. I'm not gonna... I don't know if I'll ever be used to that. I've had...
This is a medically induced tree appreciation episode.
And this is why the environment is important.
Look, I'm not going to appreciate the environment.
We support one kind of ice, and it's from the Arctic.
Now that's a takeaway we should have from this episode.
Shout out polar bears.
Okay. Shout out polar ice caps. It feels like 36 degrees outside. I'm just gonna say it. I do not respect the environment when this is the temperature.
I honestly, I would concur. I am not very happy with nature at the moment. Like, I understand that human society has done this to ourselves, but at the same time, why am I, the main character of the universe, personally having to deal with this heat wave?
That sounds like a sentence that Isabella would say.
I would never say that I'm the main character.
Yes, you would.
I'll say that I'm the favorite, but...
Oh, I love the concept that Isabella is the fan favorite of the universe.
I'm not gonna lie, I think that might be true.
I think that's genuinely true. I think when the universe needs a gag episode, they just turn their camera to Isabella, and they're just like,
Isabella,
what can I do?
Isabella's life is just the beach episode of the universe.
No, literally, because I do have the thought, wow, life is so beautiful, at least 5 times a day, and I write it down in my journal.
Well, you should. That's meant to be
routinely. Routinely. I am the beach episode of the universe.
Shout out nature.
What? Why is that the running joke? Okay.
I don't know. I don't know when shout out blank became the running joke
Episode 2,
on
by the
the
way.
show.
It was episode 2.
And I
Okay,
have so
I
many
trust
more
you.
shout outs to give, so we gotta keep it up.
I'm gonna say shout out Natalie again because she's great.
I'm saying shout outs to shout outs.
Shout out, shout outs.
I've already run this joke
Shout out
into
to the guy
ground.
at the coffee shop that I always go to.
You know what? Based. A shout out to the coffee
Yeah.
shop, to the guy at the coffee shop Isabella always goes to.
Yeah, especially the guy that gave me my 5th coffee during my epiphany era. You gotta support women's wrongs too.
That one guy specifically supports women's rights and women's wrongs.
Shout
have
out
no-
feminism.
We actually have no evidence if that's one specific guy supports women's rights, but we know that he supports women's wrongs.
I think we're at
A little coffee shop downtown that's like brick walled.
Yeah, we have no evidence he
Just
supports
be
women's
vaguely
rights, but
feminist.
he definitely supports women's wrongs.
I think I love this like phase of the show where the story is technically done, so we kind of just start to talk nonsense.
That was halfway through your story.
Yeah, sorry about that one.
That was my
That's
fault.
okay.
That's not you. I've talked more than you this episode, Isabella.
Talking over women is crazy, actually.
I also support women's wrongs.
But do you support
As you
women's
should.
rights?
I am legally required to answer yes to that question.
I think
But
people
yeah.
should support women's rights, women's wrongs. It's okay. Sometimes things just happen. You know what? That's lovely. Isn't life so beautiful?
I'm going to officially close out my story by saying that neurologist sucked because he did say that I was too young to be disabled once, but he did cure my depression, so shout out to him for that.
Cured your depression? Because you were too young to be disabled.
You're too young to be disabled, so he cures your disability? Is an insane story. My doctor said I was
You're
too young
doing-
to be disabled, so they fixed it.
Honestly based. That is
Actually-
what they're supposed to do.
Actually, if that is actually what your doctor did, rather than just disregard you, I think that would make him a good doctor.
No, he sucked, and I think I went back to him one more time, and then I kind of just went, okay, I am never going back to him ever again. But
My
yeah.
nurses one time told me that it was good timing for my appendix to come out because I wouldn't want to eat, and it was coming up to bikini season.
We do not support those women's wrongs. Okay, we're coming up on the last little bit of the episode, so I have to close this out now. So thank you all for listening to our yapping alongside Abhipsha's story on how her doctor accidentally cured her depression. I love that for you. For those of you listening, after this or before this, I still haven't actually figured out from the radio station. You get the chance to listen to Secret World Society, my other podcast. Make sure you tune into that if you're online on Spotify, YouTube, other major platforms. Go look it up, Secret World Society, where these two have not voice acted any characters in that show yet. So we'll get to that. I'm planning on incorporating both of them into the next set of 4, so episodes 5, 6, 7, 8. So tune in for that, because that's going to be interesting. All right, we are off. Tune in for our next episode of Chronic Pain Club, where Emily will come in. Any closing words from either of you two?
Shout out Anti-Depressants.
Shout out Anti-Depressants, true.
Take your
That could
medication
be-
and stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated, oh my gosh.
Especially right now.
Heat wave.
No, what's the opposite of shout out to heat wave?
Whisper in.
Whisper in heat wave.
Whisper in heat wave. You all have a good one.
Bye bye.
Bye.